When you're swimming underwater at night, in order to fool people, you need to put a dead bird on your head, because the bad guys will spot you otherwise. Also, my hair is a bird. Your argument is invalid. Sean Connery did not believe in speedy dead bird scuba mask removal, so they had to fix it in post-production. What? Bond shot this grappling hook and this guy immediately sees it. Bond still has to climb the wall, and there's no way he could have gotten up there that fast and took a completely different path that this guard couldn't see him. I know when I start an illegal drug business, I'm gonna have huge barrels of nitromethane inside my secret opium poppy growing station. Because f*** you, that's why. How did he get back up on top of the wall after he already shot his grappling hook as a decoy? The world will never know. It's probably a good thing that the film jump cuts here, because that tuxedo was definitely not underneath his wetsuit the whole time.
Mr. Ramirez and his friends will be out of business.
At least they won't be using heroin-flavored bananas to finance revolutions.
How did you say that line with a straight face? You know, Bond is a highly trained, highly skilled secret agent, and he never walks into a room to check for assassins. Also, these guys are so amazing. They know that Bond is staying in this hotel and this room, who he is and what he can do. But they didn't want to make blowing up their poppy lab a little bit harder with him in town. Luckily for Bond, he was making out with the one woman in the world with perfectly reflective eyes. Of course, her just staring in that direction would have been enough of a tip-off. Also, did this assassin just try to kill Bond with a baton of some sort? No gun? Seriously? Chauvinistic human shield. 1960s movie fighting.
Shocking.
Oh no, there's some shit going down. What have we gotten ourselves into now? You know what? Subtract a sin for Shirley Bassey in this awesome opening. Pussy Galore's parents really hated their daughter when she was born. There's a continuity girl credited in this movie. They honestly couldn't just call the position continuity back then. And I guess only girls could do it. I'm getting the very peculiar feeling that this movie is about gold. Hot sunny day in Miami, so naturally there's only one person in the pool.
Man talk.
You take care, continuity girl. Can we send a movie this old for green screen hilarity they couldn't really help? Yes, we can.
Or a Goldfinger.
Because his last name wasn't enough to tell you what this guy's about.
Sounds like a French nail varnish.
It also sounds like a point being hammered. It's like calling him Erectus Dickard.
Where do I find him?
Oh, good. The main villain is staying at the exact place where Bond's vacationing. That saves time. Geez, does the entire hotel use one key to get in all the rooms? No wonder we left the 60s. Of course, there will be no need to alert the authorities about this obvious break-in. Look, all I'm saying is if it's me and the 60s, I immediately grow suspicious of the obvious listening device Goldfinger's using here. He's not listening to House of the Rising Sun right now, that's for damn sure. Binoculars that are this good.
I'm beginning to like you, Mr. Bond.
Funny how Bond never runs into unattractive women in these situations.
The president said he was entirely satisfied.
Did you have the news radio on while you were f***ing?
My dear girl, there are some things that just aren't done, such as drinking Dom Perignon 53 above a temperature of 38 degrees Fahrenheit. That's as bad as listening to the Beatles without earmuffs.
I wonder about this line. Don't you think he meant headphones? But if he didn't, why don't you live and let die, Mr. Bond? Oddjob must have sat there watching Jill and Bond have sex before taking care of business. Alright, take that! And I'm gonna kill Jill and leave you alive for some reason. This pillow. Oh, wait, she's dead, isn't she? Also, how long does it take to paint someone in gold to kill them? This seems like a horrible use of time and resources. Also, I think about Oddjob whipping out a can of gold paint and patiently covering Jill's body with it. He must have known Bond would be knocked out for the exact amount of time it took him to do this. Bond comes out of M's office, but M's office appears to be a pitch-black darkness.
Gold, gentlemen, which can be melted down and recast, is virtually untraceable, which makes it, unlike diamonds, ideal for smuggling.
Except for the weight! The British intelligence is testing gas fog expelling parking meters. Because, well, honestly, if you can't immediately think of a dozen good uses for such a thing, I'm certainly not going to tell you. This bulletproof vest demonstration requires live subjects. And why would you do it in an open workshop?
You'll be using this Aston Martin.
Aston Martin absolves the product placement sin with the sexiest car ever.
Revolving number plates, naturally. Valid all countries.
Valid all countries? That'd only be possible with a 50-sided rotating thingy in there, which this clearly is not.
Smoke screen, oil slick, rear bulletproof screen, and left and right front wing machine guns.
These other two switches he didn't point to are for the gas tank door and popping the trunk, I guess.
You'll find a little red button. Whatever you do, don't touch it.
Dialogue guarantees James Bond will have to touch it. Why not just say it's an eject button right off the bat? Does Q think that Bond will go pressing the button willy-nilly? Wait, Goldfinger never asked or interrogated the girl accomplice to find out the name of the dude that hijacked his card cheating? He doesn't recognize the voice from his ear that should be haunting him? Or he did, and Bond is somehow too stupid to realize that possibility. Either way, sin. Golf. Wait, did he have that thing in his pocket? Shitty golf. Nothing better than a movie that grippingly depicts golf ball searching.
If that's his original ball, I'm Arnold Palmer.
Amazing how the whole world changes with a case of mistaken ball identity.
Fine.
Did you switch him, sir?
The 60s, when exposition needed to be shown and then discussed.
Many people have tried to involve themselves in my affairs, unsuccessfully.
How many people applied for this job with honest-to-God sharpshooting skills? And this dude came in throwing hats. And Goldfinger said, "Brilliant! We need a hat-throwing assassin!" Odd job is addict to his boss's balls. Oh, wow, that's extremely convenient that Goldfinger flies his car with him everywhere he goes. Or else this homing device would have been useless. Oh hey, it's discount Jodie Foster. Or is Jodie Foster a discount her? Road conveniently winds and drops so that this view for Bond can happen. And so that this sniper's view can also happen. Damn, Road is the f***ing screenwriter, I think. Also, for some reason, Goldfinger decides to stop his car on the side of the street to visit a children's fruit stand. We find out later that this is Jill's sister Tilly, and she wants revenge, and to kill Goldfinger. But none of this setup makes any sense whatsoever. She picked this spot to do it? How did she know he was going to stop for fruit? This is also you think she's trying to kill Bond, and they hope you forget about how insane this is later on. Oddjob has no idea who shot that gun or why, but it makes him smile. Also, this rifle fire in the middle of the mountains does not concern the kids who run this modest fruit stand. Now, she was ahead of him, remember? So how did Bond drive past her on the way down and not notice? Movie shows us Bond driving with the mountains on his left and the drop-off on his right, but then cuts to another angle that shows the mountains on his right. Et tu, Mr. Bond? Et tu? Whoa, Q didn't say anything about the tire slashing blades during Bond's examination of the car. Did they withhold that information for a surprise? This thing only cuts through her car instead of causing a terrific accident, as the laws of physics dictate.
Are you all right? Here, let me help you.
She didn't notice, hear, see, or realize that he's the reason she nearly died? Seriously?
Look at them!
A double blowout. I've never seen one of these before.
Not to mention massive damage on the car itself between the front and rear tires that prove a blade of some sort caused this. Does Bond not know she was the one shooting at him? Or does she not know that he knows? Whichever is actually the case, it's sinful. So you were driving in the opposite direction of Goldfinger? Which might be fine if there were any reason at all you'd come this far with the woman who nearly killed you, only to drop her off and not learn anything. I mean, don't you bang enough chicks for this not to be worth it? This is when you know you have a problem. Well, good thing Bond had his homing beacon, or he'd never have found this. It's amazing that Bond randomly climbed the ladders to this place to get a view of the guards, and it just happens to be a bonanza of information.
Smuggling is an art, Mr. Lee.
And I'm going to explain the operation in full detail to everyone who might be listening.
Do some gold in this special furnace.
Goldfinger has mastered the art of talking while not moving his lips. On this giant piece of land, the assassin just happens to be walking in the same wooded area as Bond.
I want him dead. He got my sister.
My sister told me everything about Goldfinger, all the way down to his secret factory in Switzerland. I didn't even need the homie beacon to follow his dumbass, so intimate am I with his movements and whereabouts.
I knew your sister Jill. I know what he did to her in Miami.
No, you don't.
He spelled it out pretty well that he knows what happened to your sister in Miami.
I was shooting at him.
Well, you're a lousy shot.
James Bond would be excellent at CinemaSins.
But somebody else around here isn't.
Nope, still lousy. Also, why didn't these guys get closer before shooting? It's not like they needed the element of surprise or anything. And they wasted their element of surprise on a terrible shot.
Quick, get in the car. I'll take care of him.
This guy doesn't have a gun for some reason, even though we just saw two guys dressed just like him with guns a second ago. Bad guys had apparently just deep-pinned a grenade before the car went off the cliff. Wait, the people in this car are driving over that same road with the oil slick on it, really fast, and it's not doing anything to them? Or does the oil slick not matter anymore after it defeats one car? Oh, he must have used the dent someone's brain spin on this hat throw. A hat we saw decapitate a statue a while ago. Bond runs out into the open and the henchmen decide, no need to keep shooting at the guy for any reason. Bond is an idiot music. Why isn't murdering Bond an option? You shot at him mercilessly for 5 minutes. Good thing the bad guys filled their cars to the gills with henchmen so that Bond could get back in his Aston Martin and push the red button that ejects the passenger seat. Why are all the Goldfinger henchmen in Geneva Cantonese? I hear gunfire, and I guess they're missing. At this range, Bond loses a game of chicken because of a mirror. Building is made of Play-Doh. Oddjob slightly turns his body to look at the mirror in this shot, and in the next shot looks like he's posing for a picture at the Grand Canyon.
Do you expect me to talk?
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Something that a bullet could have done unconscious a clock ago.
2 words you may have overheard, which cannot possibly have any significance to you or anyone in your organization.
Can you afford to take that chance?
Why doesn't Goldfinger stop the laser, then ask Bond what he thinks Operation Grand Slam is, and if he can't come up with an answer, just kill him? That gun didn't fire shit. You just dubbed a sound effect over a shot of a gun not being fired into a person.
My name is Pussy Galore.
As in lots of cats. As in Simpson Cat Lady. Still want to f***?
The humming means you're in Mr. Goldfinger's Lockheed Jetstar heading for Baltimore.
Why is Goldfinger taking Bond with him? It's bad enough he didn't kill him, but why not put him in a place where, when he woke up, he had no idea where Goldfinger was going?
We'll be landing in Baltimore, our port of entry into the United States, in 55 minutes.
You do realize you have like one passenger, and he's a prisoner, right? It's not like we're flying Delta here. Ah yes, the second peephole in case they're wise to the first peephole trick. Question though, is this plane often used for people you need to spy on in the bathroom? No. Right now the flight attendant's face is looking through the peephole, blocking most or all light from coming through it. So stop lying to me. Hey, did you ever notice how the first 3 notes of Goldfinger are basically the same as the first 3 notes of Moon River? I didn't think he was gonna do Moon River, but then bam, second encore. Discount blonde, old-timey, pointy tits Mila Kunis. Well, it's the South, so of course, banjos. And they're in Kentucky, so of course, random KFC before it was KFC in the background.
Yeah, I like this.
Now kids, remember, the positioning of these 2 dudes is important when you jump to conclusions like I did. Goldfinger is a dick to guys who didn't know he had an It's a Wonderful Life floor. Also, the building of this model would have required the hiring of so many contractors that there's no way it could be kept secret. But whatever. Cool floor map, dog. Also, how does this model help them understand your break-in plan any better than the photograph that was the same distance away from the buildings? Curiosity. I'm already pissed off that this guard came in here when it's such an obvious ploy, but come on, how in the f*** did he get up here? There's literally no way to do it, at least without being seen. Guard also fails to even think of looking up, and they just built a cell like this, with a gap in the ceiling where you can, I don't know, hide your weed? Guard doesn't fire his gun or scream or do any of the things that could alert his coworkers to the situation at hand. Wait, they built this floor model of Fort Knox without a floor? Why? Also, not only is this Fort Knox model convenient, but it's amazing timing for Bond, as Goldfinger lays out his plan at the perfect time after Bond gets out of his cell.
Operation Grand Slam. I have devoted 15 years of my life to it.
Evil plans that require 15 years of planning are almost never worth it. First half of the note looks fine, but the part he's actually writing while we're watching is some terrible handwriting indeed. Bond suffers no injuries, ever. Apparently, you can gas a bunch of prominent businessmen in one place, and it won't lead to suspicion elsewhere in the world. Did all these guys secretly go to Goldfinger's ranch in Kentucky, somehow, without anyone knowing? Also, why didn't Goldfinger just do this earlier, instead of going through all the trouble of laying out the plan in front of a bunch of people he was going to kill anyway? Why did they go through all the trouble of driving Mr. Solo out to the airport just to shoot him, when Goldfinger could have easily gassed him with everyone else? The only way the dead body is in this car is if he's actually alive and actively smashing himself against the floor in the back seat to hide from the camera. The best reason to use a car crusher to hide a dead body is to avoid that body being found, or you being somehow connected to it. Taking the crushed car/dead body with you when you leave is counterproductive.
We were quite right to spare Mr. Bond's life in Switzerland if those gentlemen are his friends.
The whole reason Goldfinger kept Bond alive is because of the possibility that other agents know what Operation Grand Slam is, which we will soon find out is blowing up the US gold supply, so that Goldfinger's own gold will increase in value. The question this brings up is how he plans to get away with it if he thinks others know about it. Hilarious, but tremendous overkill since the biggest adjustment they had to make was don't be dumb.
Mint julep?
Kentucky parts of the movie go overboard with the Kentucky. Oddjob returns the smash car in a completely different position in the back than it originated in, which means Continuity Girl did not do her job. Probably because she's a woman. And I can say that because it's the 60s. Oh, wait. Chick tossing. I'm unable to strangle you, so I might as well kiss you. It's amazing how many times Pussy Galore basically says no during this encounter, and it just doesn't matter. The starting of this propeller shall signify the ejaculation of the male character in the previous scene.
Wind check. Westerly.
What good is a wind check if all you're checking is the general direction and not speed and shit? Whatever gas these planes are dispersing, it absolutely cannot possibly move quick enough for these soldiers to be impacted before the plane is even overhead. Thankfully, the gas that knocked out every living soul on Earth in its path dissipates quickly enough for gas masks to be abandoned almost immediately. Yep, 2/3 of one of the best Bond movies ever takes place in Kentucky. I'm as confused as you are. Goldfinger is much better at laser development than he is at sensible world domination planning.
Good morning, Mr. Bond. I want you exactly when I want you.
As opposed to when he was on the plane, or in the prison, he's been where you want him more than half this f***ing movie. The f*** are you talking about? What has Bond done in this movie, really? Get captured on purpose and then just ride that train all the way through, right? I mean, other than the opening scene or two, this movie has reduced James Bond to a decent prisoner of war.
Goodbye, Mr. Bond.
I've kept you alive through all this bullshit just to say goodbye here and have you incinerated by a nuke. You are wholly unimportant to any part of my plan. Good day. Of course, they make it easy for Bond to access the bomb by handcuffing him directly to it, instead of just, I don't know, handcuffing him anywhere else, or just killing the motherfucker without having to go through all this shit.
He's one of them, so's the girl. I'll get her.
Your German accent and the fact that I've never met you before or saw you go inside is good enough for me. Also, did absolutely no one look at a picture of Goldfinger before all this started? Luckily, Oddjob threw the one guy with the handcuff keys down to Bond. Instead of throwing his bullseye hat, Oddjob just keeps running down the stairs because screenplay. Oh, now he's gonna throw it. 8 seconds too late. This is why there are many glaring weaknesses with hat-based weaponry. Bond finds a what the f is that thing supposed to be? Oddjob disarms Bond and tosses him, instead of, killing him instantly with a neck break or something. Thank God all these metal up and down bars somehow touch something metal so that this electrocution can happen. Soldiers toss grenades into enemy-held building as though there aren't any nukes in there, which there are. I guess we don't really have to say it, but this is Bond we're talking about here, so of course the bomb counter is a lying, cheating whore throughout this sequence.
By the way, what made her call Washington?
His dick. Oh, come on. I could probably rattle off 100 reasons why Goldfinger couldn't possibly have pulled this off, but I'm just gonna ding it. I mean, damn. Geez, that's a freaking rookie mistake right there. No. That's a double doctor no. These assholes are just now figuring this out. This amazing radar can detect people ejecting from the plane. Does everything in this movie explode upon impact?
This is no time to be rescued.
Well, at least it seems consensual this time.
Do you expect me to talk?
Mine? My little buttercup has the sweetest smile.
I thought I'd find you in good hands.
And if you get Allstate today, you can get an early signing discount.
See this button? Don't touch it! It's the history eraser button, you fool!
You will not make this putt, you jackass!
I want him dead. He got my sister.
My sister, my daughter.
Mayday, mayday! India Gulf 909er is buddy spiked. Abort, abort! There are children aboard. Say again, there are children aboard this. No! Put a field around us now! I've never done one that big. Violet, do
All wings report in.
Red 10 standing by.
Red 7 standing by.
Red 3 standing by.
Red 6 standing by.
Red 9 standing by.
Most new fish come close to madness the first night. Somebody always breaks down crying. Happens every time. The only question is, who's it gonna be?
Dr. Petrov, report to my cabin immediately. There's been a dreadful accident.
I apologize for the crudity of this model, but
Yeah, I know, Doc. It's not to scale.